Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the proposed changes to the 2026-2027 Pennsylvania hunting season. And specifically, we are talking about the proposed changes to the deer season opener. So here we are going to show you a clip from the podcast that the Pennsylvania Game Commission does. It is... what's the name of their podcast? The Call of the Outdoors podcast by the Pennsylvania Game Commission. And they have the executive director, Steve Smith, from the Game Commission on to discuss what's going to be talked about at the upcoming board meetings taking place on next weekend, next Friday and Saturday. So would that be the 22nd and 23rd? And there will be public comment allowed to happen on Saturday. You can sign up for 5 minutes to speak, and they want to know what everybody has to say about this and what everybody's feelings are. So take a listen to the proposed changes, and then we'll discuss what you think. So here we go.
We have some very exciting news. This is a special edition. We're on the heels of our January board meeting where we set seasons and bags and really set the year for the next hunting license year. And our executive director, Steve Smith, is joining us today with some very exciting news and an update for next week's board meeting. Well, Steve, we have a big meeting coming up next week, and we obviously let's just dive right into it and start talking about what's going to happen here in about a week.
Yeah, as you said, it's going to be a big meeting, and this is the January meeting for our Board of Commissioners. And one thing, Matt, I think we've covered in a couple of previous podcasts and really appreciate how focused you have been on getting the word out and the understanding is that process that we go through when it comes to setting regulations, specifically seasons and bag limits. And that's a two-step process, but it begins in January. So as you said, next week is going to be that first meeting in which our board's going to look at some proposals for when to start seasons, what the bag limit should be, et cetera. And it's going to be in prep for the next hunting license year.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes, even like I can remember in my past, we didn't understand how it works. So anything that happens in the January meeting is preliminary. It doesn't get finalized till April, but that's why we're here. We're here to talk about, a specific issue. A lot of great things happened last year. Sunday hunting, we had for the first time this fall. And as we go into the 26-27 hunting season, we got to, look at Sundays throughout the whole season. But let's just dive right into, what we're here to talk about.
Sure, that is a big part of it, certainly, and I think you're spot on. It's been something that has been exciting for our hunters, and it's a big part of what we've been doing. But as we're kind of alluding to, that's not the only potential change on the horizon. So as our board comes in next week, they're going to have a proposal in front of them. Well, really two proposals. One is going to deal with the start of firearms deer season, and it's going to be that traditional time period when the season has started of late and of the past couple decades, which is after Thanksgiving, specifically the Saturday after Thanksgiving. That's going to be one proposal that the board's going to have.
And that's the way currently season is set.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Another proposal that the board's going to have would start the season a week earlier. So instead of starting it on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, the board's going to have a proposal that would start it on the Saturday before Thanksgiving. A change like that, as you can imagine, there's several other changes associated with it, species that are impacted. So it's going to be a full slate of options for the board to consider that the premise is moving that first day or first week for firearms deer season.
Yeah, that is a big one. And everybody, we have our personal opinions on, we all do. But, when we're, as an agency, we're out there and serving the people and the resource. And I think it's important that we're out here today talking about this and getting it out there a week before.
Absolutely. It's a wildlife management. There's that social component to it as well. We have to manage the wildlife in the state and do it responsibly. And to do that, we need hunters. Right. And that means setting a season at a time that's convenient for them, and that increases the participation because that then allows us to manage the wildlife. So all those things are absolutely connected.
And before, obviously this is going to go up on our social channels. And, before, we obviously feel free to comment, and it's going to happen. It's going to start that. But really, if you have a comment and you want to get in front of the board, there's a few ways to do that, and we have some time for you to do that. If you want to, voice your concerns, voice your support, however it is, we want to hear from you. We have a mechanism to get to the board with your comments through our website. Our website is pa.gov/PGC. Contact us. You can get right to the board there with a comment, and I'm sure you would encourage folks to come to the public comment section of the meeting.
Absolutely, and that's why we're doing this today, right? That's why we're getting the word out ahead of time. We want people to think about it, to consider what we're going to put in front of our board. Think about what would work for them. Think about what would work in particular for that younger hunter that they know. What would work? What's more convenient for that son or daughter who might be in high school, might be in college, might have just started a job. Think about how we can, again, I'll go back to increase participation, because that's what we're trying to do through our seasons. So think about it, and then, as you said, there's plenty of options to make your voice heard, and that's part of the process. That's why we're announcing this here today. That's why our press release is going out. We want the public to and our hunters to see what the board is going to be considering, and then to give their thoughts on if this is the right direction.
And basically, making our hunters and constituents aware of what's going on is our purpose. But you can tune in. Our board meeting is live streamed on YouTube.
It is.
And you can tune in and watch what happens. It's pretty exciting times, really. I mean, when you really think about it, I mean, it's a big change and that's proposed, and it's exciting. I mean,
So there you have it. 2 proposals on the table for the rifle season. Keep it the way it is, or let's move it to the Saturday before Thanksgiving so we can sell more licenses and give more people time to hunt. I have my opinions on it. I know you guys have your opinions on it. So let's hear them in the comments below. Drop that comment, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.